Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so Black Clover chapter 280 is out, and this chapter set up some insane events for the next few chapters of this arc. I mean, look at the things that this chapter set forward. We got the Dark Triad members all now at 100% with brand new transformations, all getting back up for round 2 against the captains, Yunosuke's vice captain that already technically defeated them. We got the devils who showed up in the last chapter, showing off a little bit of their power and basically just proving to Noct that he overly underestimated how strong these devils were going to be. We got a lot of assumingly low tier devils showing up into the world, and Mario Leona's pretty much their only line of defense against them, which is going to be hype seeing that fight go down. And then we got a new big threat showing up in the Clover Kingdom with possibly no one besides Asta there to stop it. So yeah, like I said, we got some insane setups for the next few chapters of Black Clover, and just based off of what's set up in this chapter alone, it seems like the bot is really trying hard to make 2021 the year of Black Clover, which I mean, kind of already is. Look at how well the anime has been doing since it came back. It has trended on Twitter multiple times, not only here in America, but in multiple other countries, especially Japan. The new opening song has been the #1 on the charts in Japan for a long time now, since I think its debut. So yeah, Black Clover is really killing it this year. I would say that, the manga is really killing it in 2020 as well. People might, disagree with that, but Black Clover has really been kicking it off since 2021 started, and man, I hope things get even better from here. But anyway, let's just jump right into the chapter. Okay, so the chapter picks up where the last one left off, with Jack being stuck to the wall after being attacked by the female devil that came out the gate. Now, in the fan translation that came out, the male devil was the one that was confirmed to have actually hit Jack, while the female devil was trying to hit Noct, and she missed. But in the official translation, it does confirm that the female devil was the one who was aiming for Jack, and the male one was the one who was aiming for Noct, and he actually missed the attack while she landed hers. Now, what looks like Jack is basically kind of stuck to the wall right now, and it looks like he's stuck there because he's frozen. His limbs are frozen to the wall. And it kind of confirms in this chapter, we don't really get to see her use too much of her powers, but it kind of confirms in this chapter that the female devil, who we find out in this chapter is actually named Lilith, her magic ability seems to be ice. And we really only get the one panel of the two of them using their abilities together in the chapter to fight off against Noct, but it looks like that the male devil has fire magic. Now, like I said, we find out in this chapter that the female devil's name is Lilith, and the male devil's name, and I'm sure I'm going to be mispronouncing this, but apparently his name is Nama. And if you actually, again, look up the Triad path, as I've been saying for the past few chapters, if you do research on it, these two devils are two of the devils that actually show up in the listing of the gates of the Triad path. And they are actually listed as being siblings, although Nama is usually considered to be a female. It is supposed to be the sister of Lilith, but here it seemingly is the brother. Now, what's interesting about those two being the first two devils to show up is the fact that Lilith and Nama usually represent the 9th and 10th gates of the Triad path. But they came out in the last chapter out of the first gate, the gate of Damiel, which is the only gate on the list of the gates of Triad path that actually houses two devils at once. And from some comments I've seen online, it seems like some people are under the assumption that the gates for the Triad path are actually supposed to open up from the bottom gates going up. So basically going from the 10th gate to the 9th to the 8th. But actually the gates are supposed to open up going from the top moving downward. So it's supposed to start with the gate of Damiel, and then move on to the gate of Chayadel, which I'm sure I mispronounced, and then the gate of Safriel is supposed to be next. And I think the explanation for it is pretty simple. Since Lucifero is supposed to be the final devil to come out of the final gate, the bot is just basically just rearranging things so that the other devils will show up in different gates so that they can actually have the order that the bot wants it to be in. So basically, since the gate of Damiel already houses two devils, it makes sense for him to basically move the final two devils who were siblings into the first gate. Then we cut to outside the castle, and we find out that those roots that basically took over the castle in the last chapter are seemingly draining mana from the air around them. And we also get some dialogue from Lilith and Nama in this chapter, pretty much indicating that they are actually just kind of eating or consuming the mana that basically gets drained from the roots. And immediately when I read that part, my first thought was when the people from the Heart Kingdom, when the Spirit Guardians, when Noelle, Luck, Mimosa, pretty much everyone who's learned to use natural mana to enhance their abilities, when they show up to the Spirit Kingdom to fight off against the devils, does this mean they're going to be at a disadvantage? I was mostly worried about the Spirit Guardians because of the fact that they spend a majority of their lives using natural mana around them to enhance their abilities and use magic. But then I remembered that they are actually training with the elves right now to learn ultimate magic alongside Noelle and the rest of them. So because they're training with the elves, maybe whatever they end up learning from them will make up for the fact that they can't use the natural mana around them as much as they usually would, and that kind of hinders their normal abilities. Maybe that will actually make up for that and give them still the advantage, or at least let them be able to fight on equal pairing with other characters in order to take down these devils. And speaking of devils, we get a whole stampede of devils showing up in this chapter, pouring out the castle, attacking the civilians, or going to attack the civilians of the Spade Kingdom. And it seems like Mario Leona is the only one there to stand in their way. And at first glance, it kind of looks like that these devils actually might just be demons. more along those lines instead of the actual devils, because they don't really seem to have any of the features that, Zagred did, or the twins have, or even Leave, and we can assume that, Lucifero, Megicula, and whatever the hell Xenon's devil's name is, whatever their features are. But I guess they're just lower tier devils, and that's why they don't share the same characteristics as the higher tier ones. But at the same time, that doesn't make sense because Leave is literally the bottom of the bottom tier of devils, but he still has the humanoid characteristic that the other devils did. So it doesn't make sense why these ones look like grotesque monsters that you see out of fantasy books, but Leave and the other ones look the same if they're all supposed to be devils. Even if they're different tier devils, they should at least have similar characteristics. But Mary Oleona does kind of confirm that they are devils in this chapter by saying that they resemble the mana that she felt when Zagred was basically taking over the Dark Castle in the last arc and using his magic that eats away of, mana and other people's life force. But that could also just be because of the fact that they all come from the underworld as well, so it's hard to tell. We are going to have to get the official translation on Sunday to find out if Tabata refers to them as devils or if he refers to them as demons. But yeah, like I said, it seems like Mary Oleona is pretty much the only one there that can actually stand in the way of these devils attacking the civilians. Because I'm sure that the, resistance members will try to help out, but I doubt their magics are going to be anywhere near capable of defeating devils. And when it comes to Sally and her group, pretty much the same thing. Although it would be hilarious if Tabata chooses this moment to show off why he brought Seke to the group and basically have him be the one to protect the civilians from the devils, even if it's basically just in a way where he's trying to escape himself and he just accidentally saves them like he saved the Emperor. I would laugh my ass off if he basically ends up being the one to save the day against these devils. Because really, Mary Oleona is going to be too preoccupied to really fight off against the devils to protect the civilians, because the demon that she already defeated gets back up and is seemingly more powerful than it was before due to the first gate being opened up and basically it feeding on the mana from the underworld. So now that is back up and she's going for round 2 against that thing, which, by the way, my only complaint so far about basically this part of the arc is the fact that we didn't get to see the fight between Mary Oleona and this demon. Because Mary Oleona is the type of character that if she's going to be part of an arc, she, 1, needs to have an intense fight, and 2, needs to have that fight be on screen. So I'm hoping that Tabata will give us that intense on-screen fight in the next few chapters where we actually get to see her fight off against the demon and basically be the one to take it down again. Now, there's a moment in the chapter that actually kind of confused me at first, because when we cut back into the castle, the first thing we go to is Yuno versus Xenon again, and it seems like the fight's basically picking up from the moment where Yuno stabs Xenon in chapter 276, because he's doing the exact same motion. It literally looks like the exact same panel from when we saw it in chapter 276. But from what I understood, Xenon kind of got knocked out for the count in that one chapter alone, so it doesn't really make sense why Yuno will be attacking him again, unless he's going for the kill shot this time. But just as he's about to do it, Xenon, Dante, and Vanica all basically, because of the fact that the first gate is opened, and the devil powers are basically being able to pour out in their entirety into the human world, they are finally now able to go into 100% of their devil union mode. Which I'm going to be honest with you guys, Vanica's design is definitely my favorite out of the 3. Dante's is okay, but when it comes to Xenon, I really do not like that design. I just hate the look for it. I don't know, maybe it's mostly the half bone mask that he has on. If he didn't have that, I think I might like it better, but I understand what they're doing, or what Tabata's doing with this design. Basically, Vanica has, her mask on one side, Xenon has it on the other, and then Dante has a full mask. I get design-wise what Tabata's doing, but I just can't get behind that design for Xenon. It just really does not work for me. But now that the Dark Triad has access to 100% of their devil powers, they're up for round 2, and it seems like they are more, when it comes to Charlotte and Yuno anyway, it seems like they're more on equal footing with them, although through Yuno's dialogue, it seems like he might be more at a disadvantage in his fight. But when it comes to Charlotte and Vanica, it looks like that they're kind of on equal footing for now. Charlotte's being pushed back, but she's still holding her own, and there is still Ro there to basically back her up, and the third captain who will be showing up at some point, who I think, for their group, that was Dorothy. And when it comes to Yuno, he also has, I believe, I think I think Fugoyan was actually the one who's going to be showing up for them. So he still has Fugoyan on the way after they defeat the Dark Apostles, who I'm assuming also got a power up, assuming they haven't already been defeated since the first gate's been opened up. But Jack, man, Jack is just getting tossed around in the chapter by Dante. As soon as he opens up his abilities, he just grabs Jack off the wall and just starts pummeling him in this chapter, which, when they said that in the summary for the leaks that came out yesterday, I was like, yo, you don't have to describe it like that. It's not that bad. It can't be that bad. But then we actually get to see the chapter. No, it is that bad. So we got 2 top tier devils who are stronger than the Dark Triad members. We had the Dark Triad members now being able to use 100% of their devil's powers in order to fight. Things are looking pretty dire already, And then we cut over near, and this is more skipping towards the end of the chapter, but we cut over to the Clover Kingdom and find out that a demon has landed in the Clover Kingdom and is ready to attack. And there seemingly is only one person there at captain level, and that is Kaiser. So the question now becomes, who is still in the Clover Kingdom that can really help out in this fight against this giant demon? And basically comes down to, we have the Black Bulls assuming that they haven't left to go to the Space Kingdom yet, which actually would be a really cool idea and I saw this online, I can't take the credit for it, but it would be a really cool idea if we got to see basically the Black Bulls base fighting off as a giant mecha against the demon. I doubt that Henry would win that fight, but it will still be a cool visual. But yeah, we have the Black Bulls, we have all the other squads who are there still. Potentially Fanzel and his group, assuming that they are still in the Clover Kingdom. And prior to the first gate being open, I would be sure that that combination of people would actually be more than capable of defeating this giant demon. But now that the first gate is open and we don't know exactly how much of a power boost the demon gets from that, I'm questioning whether or not they will be able to actually take out the demon and protect the capital. So what I'm thinking is going to end up happening is, because of the fact that Asta is still confirmed at the end of the chapter to be training in the Rental Circle, I think it's just going to come down to that as a way to display a portion of Asta's new abilities. He's going to have Asta basically be the one to take out the demon by himself once everyone's kind of on the ropes. And more than likely, that's probably how he also plans on dealing with the lower tier devils that are attacking the Space Kingdom right now, since Mereoleona is going to be busy fighting against the giant demon by herself. But if I had to be honest, because of the fact that I see this as an Avengers Endgame level threat, and since it took 8 people to fight off against the Red in the last arc, personally, I would prefer if at this point we basically, once we get to the Space Kingdom, we have just hundreds of people pouring in, basically just an entire army of people, and not just people from the Clover Kingdom and the Heart Kingdom, but also mean people like for the Witch Force, the Witch Queen herself, people from the Underwater Temple, coming back now to help out in this fight against this world-ending threat. Now, while all this is happening, and while he's basically trying to just stay alive while fighting against 2 top-tier devils, Nox's main focus is getting to Morris, because he basically just wants to kill Morris as fast as he can to stop him from progressing the ritual any further. So he's basically just trying to figure out how he's going to do that, and really with 2 top-tier devils, he even says it in the chapter, with the 2 devils standing in his way, there's really no way with the level of power that he has for him to get past these 2 devils and make it to Morris, at least not alive anyway. And that's seemingly what his plan is, because he tells Pumede at the end of the chapter, hey, die with me. Now, one of the main theories when it comes to the Cat Devil Pumede for the fandom is that he more than likely gives Nox the ability to die multiple times and have multiple lives. Because of the fact that cats are considered to have 9 lives, pretty much everyone assumes that Nox is able to basically use that kind of aspect or that kind of trait in his magic and, have multiple lives. And I'll be honest, when I first heard that theory, I kind of thought that, this isn't possible. It's kind of improbable to think that with Nox's abilities, he could really have multiple lives. But with the way that Nox is wording it in this chapter, it seems like this theory actually might be somewhat true. At the very least, it seems like he's planning on sacrificing Pumede in order to make it to Morris, or it seems like maybe he has some kind of way to basically land an attack on Morris from where they are, but in order to do it, they are going to have to basically confront the 2 devils in front of them and potentially end up dying because of it. Although that second idea is kind of less likely, because it's really too early for Nox's character to be killed off. I mean, we really don't know anything about his backstory just yet. We got hints here and there, but we still don't know the full story about him. So it's way too early for Tabata to kill this character off without giving us any explanation of what his deal is. Now, at the end of the chapter, the last thing we see is actually Asta training in the ritual. So I'm assuming that within the next 3 chapters, we're actually going to get more of a glimpse of what's going to happen with his Devil Unit mode and the abilities that it has. I don't think we're going to get the full reveal to it just yet, but we're at least going to get to see a little bit of his power in the next few chapters dealing with that demon. But anyway, guys, that is it for the chapter. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this week's chapter. Personally, I thought this chapter was incredible, even though it was literally just a setup chapter. Everything that was set up in this chapter are future events that I cannot wait to get to. And really, 2021, ever since it started, Black Clover has just been on fire week by week. Although I would say the same thing for 2020. But really, when it comes down to it, Tabata is really trying to make 2021 the year of Black Clover. But yeah, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.